I'm France-Luce Benson. I'm a playwright, and my play Detained is opening at the Fountain Theater February 19th. For more information about the play and how to get tickets, listen to this conversation. Why is theater a unique experience for the actors and the audience and the actors, and I guess and the writers? I mean, the obvious one, and it's the reason why I continue to love theater and work in this discipline, is it's live. It's live, and that excitement of experience something new every time, watching something as it happens, and the best performances I've ever seen, the best experiences I've ever seen had that kind of electric energy that was so extraordinary that you never forget that. You never forget. And I think it's different than, there's certainly films that stay with you, but the experience of a live performance, I remember the entire experience. I remember walking into the theater. I remember who was sitting near me and how the audience reacted to things. And as a playwright, again, it's just exciting to see your play evolve over time. Once the show opens, the actors become more and more confident, and it's the live experience. That's what makes it special. What is my writing process from creation to the stage? It varies. A play like this, a play like Detained, it was a very different process because I created it in collaboration with Judy Rabinovitz, and it was based on interviews. So there was a long process of gathering material, which was the interviews and a lot of the research. But I do that often, even when I'm writing plays that are completely fiction. I tend to do a lot of research anyways. I recently wrote a play about a family's history with mental illness, and that, I did a lot of research about that. But there's usually a phase of gathering material, and then I have kind of an incubation period where I just process all of the research, all of the material that I've gathered. I'll do a lot of journaling, and characters will start to materialize and reveal themselves to me. And most of my work is really character driven. So I tend to spend a lot of time getting to know the characters before I actually start writing the script, writing any dialogue. And then once I get into the zone of actually writing the script, once I have a first draft, depending on the project, oftentimes if it's a commission, then I have a built-in system to workshop it, to develop it. A theater company or the institution will oftentimes put together a reading. And then again, it really depends on the project. There are plays that have spent years in development and have had several readings and workshops and many drafts. And then there are commissions that I've had where there was already a production date scheduled, and so the process was much quicker. So it depends, but there's usually like a gathering of material and research, sitting with that information, and then the actual art of it. And then once we get into production, that's the part that I love. I love being in the rehearsal room. I love collaborating with actors and a director, and really that's when all the discovery happens, and that's the really exciting part. Where did the idea for Detained come? It came from Judy Rabinovitz. Really, she approached me. She had this idea. Judy Rabinovitz co-conceived, collaborated with me in the creation of this, and she's an immigration attorney for many years, for decades. She works with the ACLU, and she had been doing this work for many years and is incredibly passionate about it. And when she first approached me, immigration has always been a hot topic, but not like it is now. When she first approached me, I believe Obama was still in office, and many people, myself included, didn't realize that under Obama's administration, there were more people deported than ever in our history. And, Judy just wanted people to know these stories. She wanted people to know what was happening. And from our first meeting, she shared a few of the stories. She shared, some of the experiences that she had. And I just immediately knew that I had to write this. I'm an immigrant. My family immigrated to America from Africa, but my parents were both from Haiti. And, I say it in the play. There's a character based on me in the play that, I knew these people. I felt like I am these people, and most of the work that I write as a playwright are about marginalized communities who are underrepresented in theater. And so this was like right in my wheelhouse. I often write about historical events. So this had everything that I love, and that was part of my mission. And I just knew that it came to me for a reason, and I absolutely had to do it. Who are the characters in this play? Well, I don't give away too much, but what I will say is that one of the things that really struck me and that I found most compelling when I started to do these interviews and started to hear these stories were that many of the characters in the play are long-term permanent residents. And most of them identify as American because they've been here most of their lives, some of them since they were very young children. And what was important to me when I started to actually write the play is there's a lot that we see in the media about immigration, and a lot of it is sensationalized. We hear a lot about migrants at the border, which is also really heartbreaking and enraging in the way that they're treated. But we don't hear enough about the stories in this play, which are people who have contributed to our country for decades, who have families here, who have aspirations, who have been educated here, are college graduates, professionals. So those are the people who are, and United States veterans. There are many United States veterans who've been held in immigration detention and deported. And there's a character in the play who's a veteran. And so that's who, without getting too specific, because I think I want people to be surprised and discover these characters live. But that's the thing that connects the majority of them, is that they're basically Americans, So my director is Mark Valdez. It's my first time working with him, but he has a incredibly impressive career as a director for many years. He actually just won. The name of the award is really hard to remember, but he won it. He won a very prestigious award. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's a long name. Anyways, he has been remarkable. He does a lot of the work that he does as a director is about social justice and also tends to focus on marginalized communities. I know he does a lot of immersive work. He does a lot of work that's really imaginative and out of the box. So he was a great find for this. One of the challenges of this play, because it is based on interviews and sort of a docudrama, is to keep it exciting and active. And Mark has created such an exciting experience. I mean, the movement, there's puppetry, there's multimedia. He's really created a very exciting experience, and he's so passionate about these issues. And also, it's a big cast. He's really, really skilled at looking at the big picture while also giving each actor, each artist what they need, and listening to them all. That's what's been really amazing to me, because it's a cast of 8. They're all incredibly talented, really smart, and have a lot of opinions and a lot of questions. And Mark has been really great at making sure everyone is heard. So that's, I feel like I'm in really great hands. And the actors are wonderful. They're representative of the diversity of these stories. Several of them are also immigrants or first generation. So they have really personal connections to these characters. What I've experienced in the rehearsal room is that they're really passionate, and they all feel really, it seems like they feel really honored to be doing this play and to be telling these stories. And most of them have thanked me several times for writing this play. And it's like, I feel like it was a no-brainer for me to write it, but they all feel really grateful that this play exists. And the last thing I'll say, which was really interesting, when we were auditioning, several of them got really emotional at the auditions. These stories really moved them, and they had really kind of deep, profound reactions to them. So I feel really grateful to have the cast that we have. Mark and I, my director, have talked about this a lot, and Judy and I have talked about this, and I've thought about it a lot. What I want most is I want audiences to take action, immediately. And one of the things that's really important to us is, to provide actionable tasks within the show and after the show. But that I want audiences to leave here enraged and motivated to really take action, to change legislation. Some of the characters in the play, their cases are still ongoing. So to get involved and engage in those cases, and just to roll up their sleeves, really, and and to leave with a spirit of activism. That's what I want most. What am I looking forward to seeing in the live production? I'm just looking forward to seeing it come alive. I've been working on this play. I mean, since Obama was in office is when Judy first approached me. So that's how long I've been working on this play. So, and I've seen, I've done workshops of it, but I'm excited to see it live. And I'm really excited to see how all of the elements that Mark is bringing to it come together. The video projections, the puppetry, the movement. We got really lucky. Annie Yee, who's a choreographer here in LA, is our movement coordinator. And so I'm just excited to see it all come together. Why must audiences see this production? Because, as I just said, this is happening every day still. There are so many more stories that are not in this play. Some of the characters in this play, their cases are still pending. They're still dealing with this. Their families are still dealing with the impact of this. It's really urgent, and so audiences must come to know what is happening in our country, how we're treating other Americans, so they can do something about it. And, hopefully the play will inspire change. Why should more voices be heard? I think this play is a great example of why, because our country is, we are the majority, BIPOC people are the majority. And our stories are truly the story of America. And, America, I'm thinking of like this controversy over critical race theory. And because things like that are happening, because people are rejecting critical race theory, because people are banning books like Mouse, we need voices like this in the theater to continue to tell the truth and to truly celebrate the diversity of this country and the contributions of all people in this country. When did I first hear about the Fountain Theater? Well, when I moved to Los Angeles, 2018, my theater agent is actually Stephen Sachs, the artistic director at the Fountain. We share an agent, and so when I moved here, my agent said, "Oh, you should meet Stephen." And I mean, as soon as I moved here, I started hearing about the Fountain everywhere because they're so they've been doing such incredible work for 30 years now. And then I met Stephen maybe a year after I moved. And when I first met him at the theater, one of the first things I noticed when I walked into the theater were, all the photos of their past productions, and, how truly, I saw Trauma Craney, I saw, just the variety of work that they've done. Ifa Baiza, it just, and then Stephen started to tell me about their mission and what's important to them. And I think the first thing that struck me was when he told me about Walking the Beat, which is one of their arts education programs that was brought to them by Theo Perkins, who's actually an actor in Detained. And I just thought, wow, this is so remarkable that a theater is doing something like this. And then, I don't know, maybe 6 months later, Stephen approached me about coming on to do community engagement for the company. And I did that I started that position in January of 2020. Then, so the pandemic happened 2 months later, but I spent about a year as their community engagement coordinator and really got to know the company and just how committed they are to producing work around social justice and producing work that's really inclusive. And I developed a new arts education program during my time as community engagement coordinator. And I was, just grateful at how supportive they were. I pitched this idea and, they were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. And before I knew it, we were launching, we got funding, and they're just committed to really doing really great work and to evolving. Why should other playwrights, actors, directors get involved with the Fountain Theater? Well, besides the fact that they're really committed to putting out quality work, you're going to have a good experience as an artist. I think it's also a small company. It's a small group of people who run it, and it is like, it's so cliche, but it is like a family. And I have noticed just in my time there that artists work with them again and again and again, and really do become like family. I witnessed it, every time there was a new production, every time there was anything, like their artists come back and their artists seem to stay connected. And so I think as an artist, whether you're a playwright, a director, an actor, once you work with the Fountain, you will have an artistic home. You will have a place to call home as an artist. Why is the Fountain Theater so important? I guess I can, just reiterate what I've said about their commitment to doing work that promotes social change, that offers a platform to underrepresented communities, and they're committed to their outreach. I think when they brought me in, it was because they wanted to do more. They wanted to strengthen their relationships and build more relationships with the community. And they wanted to, developing this new arts education program came out of their desire to provide arts education to more students. So the work that they do is important, and they are really contributing something valuable to Los Angeles. And it's a small company, and like most theaters in the country, took a hit during the pandemic. It's a small theater that, because of COVID now, cannot have maximum capacity. And so, that impacts the company financially and in many other ways. And so I think now more than ever, like all theaters in the country, in the world now, really need support to continue doing the work that they're committed to doing. Judy and I decided that it would be sort of a living piece of art, because the legislation is always changing. There are always new challenges. There are always new things happening. And I really want the play to always feel current. And so, yes, I added new stories for this production. And, my intention is every time the play is done, I will take a look and see, okay, what's happening now? And make sure that the stories in the play remain really urgent and immediate. Is there anything else about the play? I just really encourage people to come because my experience so far when we've had previous workshops and readings of the play is that audiences, it's an experience that will stay with you and is deeply moving and really important. And so I really encourage you to be there. And we are hopefully going to have some of the people that I interviewed for this play. We're hoping that some of them will be able to be there. So that will be really exciting. And we're also, we're working on a number of events, post-show and pre-show events that will provide resources for audience members who want to get engaged after seeing the show. So it's really gonna be a really important, extraordinary experience, I guarantee. I'm France-Luce Benson. I am a playwright, and I wrote the docudrama Detained that is opening at the Fountain Theater on February 19th. I hope to see you all there. Tickets are on sale at the Fountain's website, fountaintheater.com, and seating is limited. So get your tickets as soon as you can, and I look forward to seeing you at the theater.